Hi, everybody. So today I'm going to do a show called Our Cosmic Origins. Okay. And I'm going to talk about basically where we came from. And I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction of myself as well, because a lot of you know me because of one thing and the attention that was attracted by this picture. So I'm going to show you that picture. Okay, so here we go. So this is the earth that was as it was given to me through my higher self. So basically it was a vision. Okay. And the first thing I saw was this. And what I saw is that we were on 1/4 of the top of a planet. And we basically lived in a dome. So this was a lot of intense news, maybe, for people like a year and a half ago. Now it may not be, because there's so much information out there about it at this point. Also, I received that we were basically on the inside of an ice wall that went to the outside of the dome, like you could get to the outside of the dome through this ice wall. And this is where elites or deletes spent a lot of their time, was in this outer ring. And beyond that was the rest of the top of Earth. So that was something that my higher self gave me that information and told me to go on YouTube and tell people. And that was very interesting, kind of difficult at first, but it definitely was very important. And the thing that is really important is that we are a toroidal field. Our energy is a toroidal field, and so is the energy of Earth. But that is what got me started, basically, and got attention. But what we're going to do is talk about the cosmic origins right now. So who are we? And there's a few questions I want you to ask yourself before you get to like enthralled with this, or like if you get annoyed by anything that I say, ask yourself, is there a reason it's triggering me? And what is that reason? Because usually it has to do with an attachment. But ask yourself, is that why? Am I attached to this idea? Does it make me feel safe, basically? So we have attachments to people, we have attachments to ideas, we have programming. We're overcoming that right now. And that is the journey of becoming a sovereign being. But I just want to get into all this stuff with you guys. And one of the questions is, so this is to ask yourself, not me, but ask a pendulum, ask a sway test, do a sway test, ask divining rods, sit with yourself and do automatic writing, whatever it is. If you want the answer to this question, let's start asking of ourselves. Is Earth a being? Do we create our reality? Did we agree as a collective on the color of the sky? So we manifest as a group and as an individual. So this is going to illustrate, this picture is going to illustrate how I see us basically coming out of God source. So imagine that this little yellow bit here at the bottom is God source. That's the edge. And we are the stars. So just imagine it that way. And then we agreed to come together as a group and create. So after we came out, we agreed to create. What are we creating? Matter. We're creating matter. And we're creating experience for ourselves. Okay. So then this is also what I would call a creation. So look at the cluster here. We're all together because you're a piece of God source. Everybody here is a piece of God source. And that's why, excuse me, that's why we are one. So we're one and we're individualized, having an individual experience to take back into the oneness. So think of it as multitasking. Okay. Multitasking on an astronomical level. That's what's going on here. And everything we see is something we either got together to create. So say all of us got together and said, this is what we're going to see in this reality. We're going to see tables and chairs and blue sky and green everywhere. And we're going to see mountains and rivers and oceans. Okay. And different kinds of us, like ones that some are creating the grass, right, as an individual being. Some are creating flowers, some are creating mountains, some are creating the elemental things like the rivers and the oceans and the soil. And some of us are creating more of the experiences. So these are the things we've learned how to do over time. That kind of soul. So that's kind of a big concept. But think about also vibration.
Vibration is what leads to attraction. Albert Einstein said, quote, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it.
So I don't know if that worked. So let's make sure that that share is actually sharing sound. Okay. So let's look at this video really quickly here.
Vibration is what leads to attraction. Albert Einstein said, quote, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics.
Okay. So basically, we are creating our own reality. And sometimes that feels really weird, and we don't necessarily want to take responsibility for that either. So we are going into becoming more and more sovereign, and we're not going to blame anybody for our problems anymore. So this is a picture that I did quite a while ago when I talked about how not just the earth was ascending, not just the human race was ascending, but the entire universe was ascending. Now we have a multiverse, we have parallel universes, all of that is included. And I'll probably talk a bit about that in another show and recommend more movies and stuff just to kind of get your head around what that is. But as of right now, we are moving. I got that we basically everything came off of a big shield. So this shield is like source, but almost bigger than that. Okay. God source, but bigger. Where did God source come from? Okay. A massive collective consciousness. Maybe there's more than one. That's another discussion that I had. So, and there's more documentation. Other people have received that information as well. But our universe is moving from this kind of muddy aqua into this bright aqua. We're going from a learning universe to a being universe. So just kind of take that in. Instead of all that polarity that we've been experiencing, all of that, this is what I don't want. Now I can see what I do want. We're not going to have to learn that way anymore. It's going to be easier. It's going to be kinder. And honestly, this human experience is probably the most intense experience that anyone is having. So it's much easier to be in a different kind of dimension. So we have dimensions and densities. So it's actually density. So the density is, what are you vibrating at? So there's another movie, and I'm going to go and find that really quick so I can tell you the name because it's really important. Okay, so the three movies are Midnight Special. That's going to give you an idea about the densities, which I think is really important to understand, because density is how fast are you vibrating? How we've been vibrating in this human experience is slow. A table vibrates slower than we do because it doesn't move, that we can see anyway. So it's vibrating extremely slow. The other one is Interstellar. Now, Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey is really going to help understand the parallel realities. I'll probably mention this in the next video too, but it really helps you see space, time, and reality, and how you can choose which place to go, how to affect. So basically that would be, he's choosing a vibration to click into when he's talking to his daughter. He's trying to get his daughter's attention. Okay, so that's a really good movie. And The Elegant Universe is the one that I would start with. If you can't find it, just go to YouTube and maybe see if you can find clips of it. But we are creating our reality, and that is a great, very like simplistic show about string theory and quantum physics. So that is the base of everything we do is quantum. And everybody says we're moving into the quantum. We're understanding the quantum. So we're going to start to understand, oh, I just created that. Oh, I attracted that with my vibration. That's how we're going to start to understand everything. So really, does it matter where we are? Does it matter what the physicality is? It matters more what's going on inside of us, because we're creating everything, all of it. Okay, so we're going to go back to this picture here. So imagine that we are in this pink cluster, and all of us souls are deciding, okay, what do we do next? What's our next plan? Basically, we have control over whatever we're creating, but a lot of the stuff we're doing, it's as a collective. So as a collective, I'm going to go back to a different part. Okay, I'm going to show you something that really illustrates reality here. So we are in a matrix.
Everybody knows something's up. Everybody knows. That is not normal. Everyone is looking up, wondering why the sky is split. Look. The sky is broken. And everybody knows something's fishy, don't you? Fishy, ain't it?
Fishy. So if we create our own reality, So we're either here or we're here in this cluster. Then who are we creating it all with? We're creating it with Earth. So what I've been receiving is that Earth is a being. She has a toroidal field just like we do. So ours comes from our heart. And basically we've been living on this beautiful being. And she just got a massive upgrade not too long ago. And she's been in the middle of ascension. And we're kind of in that space where we're split off from her somewhat. And you can tune into this as well. But kind of like Dolores Cannon mentioned, where the earth splits, right? We're on a seed of earth, and earth is nearby. And we're in this reality that we've helped create that is expanding and accelerating our ascension. So the ascension process is us moving to a higher vibration so that we will contain more light. And also, we will contain our entire higher self. So we have an oversoul, and out of this oversoul comes our higher self. And there's many, many little dots that will become higher selves out of an oversoul. And the oversoul is what came out of God source. So the higher self is downloading into the human body. So it used to be we would carry around about 10% of our higher self. But we are getting brighter and brighter. We're going from carbon to crystalline. And you can call that Christ aligned as well, which I think is beautiful because that means we're actually encompassing love. But we're downloading that higher self. And in order to do that, we have to let go of limiting beliefs. So if I would have said to you a while ago, like a year and a half ago, oh, by the way, we create our own reality. We popped out of source and we all came together and we are creating every single thing that we see. Even though that's been said before, I don't think we actually live it. So that's what we're doing. We're becoming sovereign to live that reality, to know that we're creating it and to create it with purpose. So that's what I see happening now. And it's beautiful. It really is. So what I'm hoping for from you guys is to give me like the things that you want to hear about that have to do with the multiverse and the parallel universes and how does that work and what movies to watch, because I've watched a lot of them recently. But also to start thinking about how do we go inside? How do we talk to our inner knowing? I'm going to do a class on that as well. And that's something I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks is put that together. But it's really important for us to now go within and start listening to our inner knowing and start to let go of the vibrations that are slower. If that makes sense. Realize that the table is something that was created, right? It's created. The house is created, and it's all created out of something that's vibrating slower. So once you realize that, like the world is your oyster, basically, because you're creating and you know that you don't need anything else but what is within you to create the reality that you want to experience. So I hope this helps. And give me some questions. Send them in to ask Honey C. Golden at Gmail. And I will put those questions into these shows. So questions about, you know, what is going on. But also I want you guys to start to tap into your own inner knowing, because that's where we're going. We're going from this learning universe and we're moving into the being universe. And that means you know the answer inside you. Just like we don't want to have government, medical, we don't want people telling us what the truth is. We want to find out from the inside out. That's what it means to go into this new space. Oh, and before we go, I want to show you something that is important. Hopefully I downloaded it. So there is, I don't see it. Okay, hang on one sec. Okay, so I found it. And here's the share screen. So basically, this is what I'm talking about. The Schumann resonance has been called the heartbeat of the earth, right? The Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of the earth. It's also our heartbeat, us. And that heartbeat and energy has been speeding up. So on June 17th, the Schumann resonance looked like this. It was just blue and green and fairly calm. The next day, this is what we got. We got a pattern. This is the being universe. And since then, the Schumann people have like hidden this, but too many pictures were taken of it. And this is the new mathematics for the being universe. So everything that is coming up in your field, stresses, limiting beliefs that are trying to be worked through, a lot of the old patterns that humans have been doing to each other, like blaming and, you know, all that kind of stuff, victimhood, all of that was pushed up to the surface to be dealt with, because we're moving into the ascended universe. So just think about those things, ask yourself those questions, maybe watch those movies. Really good stuff, you guys. And I gotta say, I'm ecstatic that this is happening, even though a lot of times it's quite painful. Because going through all your junk is not, doesn't feel that good, but it is absolutely worth it. It is so worth it. And I think that we really need to get into ourselves, our own experience right now. Yeah. Anyway, I am going to stop the share, hopefully. Anyway, I just want to invite you guys to interact with me, ask me questions so that we can make this more fun, okay? Ascension should not all be toil and dealing with the icky stuff. Let's have some fun with it as well. So ask me questions that will make it more fun. Ask me questions that are hard, whatever you want to do. And we'll get as many of them as possible in these shows. Okay, I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.